What if I told you the most famous house in the world has no rent, comes with 132 rooms, and your neighbors are basically the Secret Service? Yep, we're talking about the White House. The US president's official crib since 1800. But have you ever wondered how many bathrooms are in there? Or who actually does the laundry? Alright, buckle up. Let's talk about White House. It's not just a place for presidential selfies and press briefings. It's got drama, ghosts, tunnels, secrets, and yeah, it's never actually been white. Let's go. First up, it was built by enslaved people. Yep, that iconic American symbol was built with the hands of enslaved African Americans, immigrants, and freed black laborers. Kinda ironic, right? A place that's supposed to scream liberty for all was put together by people who weren't even free. This part of history isn't talked about enough, but it's real and worth remembering. The White House is iconic, but it's got layers. Shiny on the outside, complicated underneath. In the aftermath of the Revolutionary War, the United States sought to establish its identity, and it quickly realized, hey, we need a proper house for the president. Constructed between 1792 and 1800. Washington, however, never lived at Government House since the national capital was moved to Philadelphia in 1790, where it remained through 1800. It was John Adams in 1800 who first called the White House home. When Thomas Jefferson moved into the house in 1801, he and architect Benjamin Latrobe added low colonnades on each wing to conceal what then were stables and storage. Originally, it was called things like the President's House or the Executive Mansion. A popular myth claims that after the burning of Washington, white paint was applied during the rebuilding to cover up the burn marks, supposedly giving the White House its iconic color and name. People started calling it the White House because of that bright white look, and the name just stuck. It became the official name in 1901 when President Theodore Roosevelt made it formal. Also, want to guess how many gallons it takes to repaint the White House today? Around 570 gallons. That's enough to paint 40 average-sized homes. That's a lot of trips to Home Depot. So what is the White House then? The official home and workplace of the President of the United States. It's where all presidential magic and drama happens. Think speeches, top-secret meetings, fancy dinners, and yeah, a whole lot of stress too. The front you always see? That's the north facade, with the grand portico added in 1829. But walk around to the south side, there's a curved facade with a beautiful double staircase. Now, architecture-wise, this baby screams neoclassical. Think symmetry, proportion, and balance. The whole thing was inspired by classical Greek and Roman buildings. Big columns, triangular pediments, and long rectangular windows. Clean lines, grand entrance. As the nation grew, so did the demands on its presidential residence. The late 19th and early 20th centuries saw significant additions. The West Wing emerged under Theodore Roosevelt's directive in 1902, providing much-needed office space and birthing the now iconic Oval Office. The East Wing followed in 1942, initially constructed to shelter wartime visitors and later repurposed to house the offices of the First Lady and her staff. The floor plan is genius too. The White House has three main sections: Executive Residence, where the family lives; West Wing, where the president works, Oval Office is here of course; East Wing, mostly for staff and visitors. The White House has 132 rooms, 35 bathrooms, a bowling alley, for real, and even a movie theater. There's a secret bunker. Beneath the East Wing is the Presidential Emergency Operations Center, a secure bunker built during World War II in case of attack. Oh, and there's a secret tunnel system. Yes, real, gym, and even a movie theater. Who knew? It sounds like a dream home, until you learn what the president actually has to pay for. Spoiler, it's more than you'd think. The president doesn't pay rent, that's true. After all, it's the official residence of the head of state. But here's the twist. The president and first family do pay for a surprising number of everyday expenses. According to former First Lady Laura Bush, Michelle Obama, and several White House insiders, the president pays out of pocket for groceries, including for guests, toiletries, dry cleaning and laundry services, haircuts, private parties and entertaining, meals prepared by chefs in their private quarters. Yes, even the eggs on the breakfast table are billed to the president. They receive a detailed monthly invoice that outlines these expenses, and they're expected to reimburse the government. Ever wonder how many people live there? The president's family, of course, but also a small army of staff. We're talking chefs, florists, housekeepers, and butlers. Basically, it runs like a high-end hotel with top-tier security. Don't even think about jumping the fence. Yes, there's a full-service laundry operation in the White House. But again, if it's for personal use, the first family pays. While the White House is their home, the first family lives under the constant presence of Secret Service agents on every floor and hallway, surveillance cameras, strict schedules, and high security. Even private family dinners happen under the watchful eye of staff. Michelle Obama described it as like living above the store. You're always close to work, and the separation between job and family life is paper thin. It's a workplace too. The West Wing holds the Oval Office and offices for the president's senior staff. Around 400 people work in the White House full-time. The Oval Office we all recognize today was built in 1909. And fun fact, each president redecorates it. New rug, new curtains, new artwork. Basically, every 4 or 8 years, it gets a makeover. The Oval Office isn't really oval. It's actually an elliptical room inspired by the bow of a ship. The shape allows the president to face guests more naturally. Obama had MLK's bust and quotes on the rug. Trump brought in gold drapes and a different vibe. Biden went with darker tones and lots of family photos. The White House. You know it. Big, white, iconic. But did you know it got burned down? Yep, the British torched it in 1814 during the War of 1812. Ironic name, I know. Flames, smoke, chaos. Bye-bye original White House. So what happened next? They rebuilt it, obviously. Can't leave the president homeless, right? Well, back in 1902, Theodore Roosevelt kicked off a full-blown renovation and added the West Wing. That move changed everything. Now the president had a real workspace, not just a fancy house. But fast forward a few decades, by the time Harry Truman moved in, the place was literally falling apart. No joke, between 1948 and 1952, they gutted the entire inside, ripped it down to the bones, and rebuilt it with a steel skeleton. That's how the White House managed to survive all these years without crumbling. And then came the 60s. Enter Jackie Kennedy. She had style, vision, and a serious love for history. Her mission? To turn the White House into something way more than just a government building. She wanted it to feel like America's house, filled with beauty, stories, and meaning. So she brought in period furniture, art, and rare historical pieces. Every room got its own vibe, its own story. Isn't that kind of amazing? So the White House. You've seen it a million times on TV, right? But what's really inside that big white mansion? First off, 132 rooms. Yep, 132. That's not a house. That's a small city. You could play hide and seek for days in there and probably still not find everyone. There's a situation room downstairs. Sounds like a sci-fi bunker, and it kinda is. Think 24/7 crisis hub, top security, no windows, just tension and tech. Every president has sat in there sweating through chaos. The East Room is where they throw big bashes, state dinners, celeb performances, Beyoncé's been there, even weddings. Yeah, people have actually said "I do" in the White House. Now picture this. Rooms dressed in head-to-toe color. The blue room, elegant, presidential. The red room, warm and romantic. The green room, cozy and classy. Each one's got a vibe, like theme lounges, but presidential. Feeling hungry? Slide into the state dining room. It fits 140 guests. That's Thanksgiving with every cousin and their plus ones. And of course, the Lincoln bedroom. Super famous, super fancy. No, Lincoln didn't sleep there, but the bed's from his time. But here's the kicker. It's old, like 230 plus years old. Built in 1792, burned down in 1814, rebuilt, updated, modernized, but still ancient bones. And with that age, come the ghosts. No joke. People, staff, guests, even presidents have reported strange sounds, eerie shadows, and full-on ghost sightings. The spirit of Abraham Lincoln apparently still wanders the halls. The White House doesn't hold back when it comes to decorating. Christmas, you'll find trees everywhere, in nearly every room, decked out with lights, ribbons, and ornaments, some with deep history too. Halloween? Oh yeah, they turned the place into a full-on haunted mansion. Ghosts, pumpkins, cobwebs, the works. Trick-or-treating on the South Lawn? Yep, that's a thing. Easter? Spring flowers and that big egg roll on the lawn. July 4th? Flags, fireworks, and a killer view. Why do they go so big? Because it's not just a house. It's the White House. It's where tradition meets showtime. Want a peek inside the most famous house in America? You totally can. Right now, from your couch. Seriously. Even if you're not in DC, you can take a 360-degree virtual tour of the White House. Yep, the real deal, on the official website. How cool is that? Why not take a look? Just a few clicks and boom, you're inside history. It survived wars, fires, protests, ghosts, redecorations, and bad hair days. Life at the White House is a fascinating mix of history, formality, and family routines. It's a place where statecraft meets scrambled eggs, and where the world's most powerful person still has to pay for their own toothpaste. Curious about more legendary places, famous homes, and jaw-dropping facts? Stick around, we've got plenty more surprising videos lined up just for you.